Let me introduce myself. Again, my name is Jordan Raynor. I'm the VP of Media and Public Affairs for a digital agency based out of DC called Engage. I actually do work here in Florida. I had my own digital political consulting shop in Tampa for about a year and sold it to Engage about 9 months ago. So I still work here with a team based here in the Sunshine State. I spent the early part of my career, you're going to find out why Al Gore is here in a second. I spent the early part of my career managing an online news platform here in the state of Florida that's really established itself as the staple in Florida political online journalism. It's called SafeyReview.com. Anybody, any Safey Review readers? Awesome, great. Safey, S-A-Y, F as in Frank, I-E. I feel like I'm giving my email address. Review.com. And Justin Safey, if you get a chance to meet him, is the smartest person working in online journalism that I know. He's here at the event, so make sure you seek Justin out. So let's go ahead and get started. And this presentation, looking at the crowd, like this does not look like crowds I've had in the past for typical social media 101. You all seem more advanced. Maybe I'm wrong, but you seem a little bit more advanced than most of the groups that I give this topic to. So I'm gonna breeze through this presentation, and I'd really like to just have a conversation with you all and listen to the challenges that you guys are facing with social media, and just have an open conversation about that. So before we get to that, I thought I would start here with Al Gore. Ever since Al Gore took the liberty of inventing the internet has been used as a tool to accomplish some pretty amazing things. And these amazing things that get the most attention are, of course, the trivial and the humorous. Without the internet, how would we know that there was an evolution to dance? Or that a music video made with only a home video camera and 4 treadmills could garner 51 million views? Without the internet, YouTube watching teenage girls probably would have never caught Bieber fever, and most importantly, Betty White's career would have never been resurrected and would have died with Golden Girls. But what about the not so trivial? What happens when the internet is used to accomplish truly significant and extraordinary things? Like making an obscure senator from Illinois the first African-American president of the United States, or powering a movement of Tea Party activists all across the country. The list of political campaigns that have risen and fallen because of the internet goes on and on. In 2009, we saw the power of the internet in organizing massive protests against tyranny in Iran. Iranian citizens armed with only cell phones and Twitter accounts were given the instant ability to spread video of a woman named Nada who was killed on the streets of Iran for protesting Iran's election results. The viral video of her death quickly made her the face of a much larger movement for freedom in Iran. The Iran election of 2009 was a moment that changed my life forever. I'm not Iranian, nor do I have any ties to the nation or its people. However, the Iranian election of 2009 served as a light bulb moment for me when I realized that the internet is the greatest picture of democracy the world has ever seen. The internet, and more specifically social media, has changed our lives forever. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd largest nation in the world, and I would argue it would be the most democratic. It would be a nation where everyone is free to post whatever they want, whenever they want, from whatever device they want. In the same world where 20 years ago you had to work in a multi-million-dollar news organization to get something printed, anyone with a $20 cell phone from Radio Shack is instantly a blogger. Today we are experiencing the democratization of information. It has never been easier or cheaper to produce and disseminate that information. But what does this power mean for you and me? What are we going to do with our newfound power? So I thought I would give, instead of walking through the basics of what is Facebook, you're here because you know what Facebook is. You're trying to figure out how best to use it to further the causes of your candidates and causes of choice. Am I right? All right. So why don't we get down into nuts and bolts? And I thought I would give you 10 very practical, and these may seem very basic and very mundane, but I really wanted to present 10 very practical things that you could walk out of here today and do to help further the causes of your candidates. Working in this space for my career, we're always trying to. We say at Engage, we inspire action everywhere, right? And so what does that mean? What are those actions that we're trying to inspire supporters of candidates to take? And actually, in preparation for this presentation, I talked with some friends within the industry who are like, other than donating money, so let's go ahead and, because the number one thing would be go to the candidate's website and donate money. But let's forget about money for a second. Other than donating money to a candidate's website, what are the top 10 things that activists can do to further the cause of a candidate or a cause online? So that's what we're going to walk through very briefly here. So the first thing, point your friends to your candidate's website. You all have platforms. Your Facebook account is a platform. Your Twitter account is a platform. Your email list that you've built for the last 10 years of all your friends and acquaintances is a platform. Directing your friends and your acquaintances to a candidate's website is one of the best ways to help that cause. Candidates want email addresses. Facebook's great, Twitter's great, social media is great, but those platforms don't raise money like email does. 2/3 of the money Barack Obama raised online in 2008 was directly from email solicitations. So, I would encourage you, point your friends in the direction of your candidate's website where that candidate can, let's be frank, capture their data, capture their email address, and communicate not only fundraising, please, but communicate practical news and important news to the campaign. Number 2, forward campaign emails to those on your email list. My dad doesn't know how to turn on a computer. I'm not joking. He is incompetent when it comes to technology. However, my dad is forced to use email at his place of work, and he's built his little email list. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Your go-to people that you're going to forward emails to that you know are going to be interested in the content that you're spreading around. This is a great way to help your candidates. Number 3, like and share links posted by the campaign on Facebook. Facebook is increasingly becoming a news platform, a place where people can go to spread news about their candidates. Facebook is growing exponentially, and there's no signs of it stopping. Yes, ma'am.
This is how stupid
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was, so I'm going to say it
Yes,
because
ma'am.
maybe one other person
Sure.
was stupid. I just learned last Saturday that when I push the like button, then it moves it out.
Right. It's a great. That's.
I thought it was just going back to that person.
No.
Hey, I like that.
No. So.
Went everywhere.
Really good point, and not a stupid question at all. So yeah, the like button is a lot powerful than it might seem when you're just clicking the like button, particularly on links. And Facebook is always changing its algorithm of how likes are presented in people's news streams. But a like of that post is going to put a link to that story that you're liking in your friend's newsfeed, and that can be a really powerful tool. So yeah, it's much more powerful than you think it is. That's why you see candidates anytime they're posting links now, they're always saying, can we get 50 likes for this post, or can we get a like for standing up for small government? I don't know. You guys have seen these many times, and this is why. It's because it's very important. If you have a candidate you like, make sure you're liking all their content, particularly links that they're sharing back to their website. Number 4, share links to your favorite candidates' Facebook pages. So this is pretty easy to do. Just go to their Facebook page. There's a link that says share this page, or you could just grab their URL and post in a status update and encourage your friends to like that page. It's a great way to build their Facebook fan base. And this 5th one, I'm very keen on, and I think it's pretty important in, become your friend's newspaper editor. What do I mean by that? I wrote a blog post a couple years ago that said, my friends killed the newspaper editor. And the whole premise was that, yes, newspaper editors will exist, maybe forever. There will be people at newspapers who are funded by big corporations who are deciding what's going to be printed in their publication. But you are deciding which content on those sites your friends are going to read. Facebook, and particularly Twitter, have increasingly become it's been our front page. It's the new front page of the newspaper. My wife the first thing she does when we wake up in the morning is pull out her phone and checks Facebook, and it's usually news. She's catching up on news about her friends, right? News about what's going on in their life, but world news, political news, entertainment news that people are posting links to. I'm a big believer in that you all, become is probably a bad word here. The poor job on my part. You already are your friends' newspaper editors. You just need to embrace it. You just need to recognize it. And say to yourself, okay, I do have this platform, and sure, I'm going to share news about my life, but I'm also going to share news about the candidates that I'm behind and that I'm supporting. Number 6, engage on Twitter. Name of my firm. I have to interject it as much as I can. How many, by a show of hands, this is always fascinating to me. How many of you all have a Facebook account? Okay. How many of you all have a Twitter account? That's more than I expected. Kudos to you all. Yeah, so Facebook, as I said, is increasingly becoming a news platform, but I would argue that Twitter has really, more than any other of the major social media networks, has established itself as a news platform for a number of different reasons. Coming out of the 2008 election, Republicans took to Twitter in pretty alarming numbers as a platform to fight back against the president, and conservatives, I would argue, have owned Twitter for a long time. Yes, ma'am.
Could you kind of, as I'm just beginning of getting the flow of using it, and I think maybe a lot of reason it's the numbers are so different because people don't really understand what Twitter is. They don't have no conception. I mean, they have no idea. Can you kind of explain what it is, what it does?
Yeah.
Because I totally just did not get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you to explain it from a beginner's perspective? I know this is. I'm interested to hear how you would explain Twitter.
I'll let you correct me.
Yeah, sure.
From what I understood, it was kind of an up-to-date thing of this is what I'm doing right this second. But I've been hearing about how many people are using Twitter, how important it is, and I'm trying to be more aggressive in my own marketing for my business. And I thought, well, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm going to go ahead and sign up for an account and try to figure it out. And then one of the things that really kind of, and I'd thrown a couple things out there, and that was fine, but what really kind of got me on it was last week when the Obama campaign had put out the Attack Watch, started that page, and somebody had sent me a link on my Facebook page about this is hilarious. You should see some of the things that conservatives are saying in response to this. And so then I kind of started getting into it, and I saw that it's kind of like Facebook, where if there's a link to a website or there's a link to a news feed that came out, you can retweet that. And so there are some things that I'm involved with my business that are of interest to me, like what's going on in the foreclosure market. So when somebody will post something, I'll say that will come up on my phone or whatever, my Facebook account, wherever it's hitting. And I can say, that's pretty interesting. I know the people on my Twitter account will also be interested in that. And I'll just hit retweet. And they'll go, wow, she knows about, what Bank of America just did, or what decision they're making, at FHA. So
Good. That's a pretty good explanation of Twitter. I got nothing to correct there. What I would add, I would just piggyback on that and say, it's interesting that you went to Twitter for your business, but what drove you to sign up was a news event, and it was this Obama Attack Watch, which conservatives parodied to ad nauseum, and it was amazing. They overtook this campaign.
On the Washington Post.
Yeah.
So people who may have not had any idea about it, all of a sudden it was at least in the Washington Post online.
Sure. Sir.
Just a quick note. It seems to me Twitter is really good for communication, but it doesn't have the characters to any type of create a persuasive argument or anything.
Yeah, So for those of you not on Twitter, Twitter does limit you for every tweet. So that's a post on Twitter, similar to a status update on Facebook. You're limited by the number of characters you can post in that one tweet. So you only have 140 characters to get your point across. Sometimes can be difficult, but it's one of those things where the more you use it, the more you get used to kind of cutting down on character. It's tough though. It's a really sharp limit. But I can't stress enough the importance of Twitter on in terms of political communication, go out here and find a legislator, a member of the Florida legislature, and ask them if they're on Twitter, and all of them are. Actually, there was a study that came out, which I was really proud of, because I feel like we had a little part to something small to do with this when I was at the Safety Review, in that Florida has a higher percentage of members of the legislature on Twitter than any other state, which I thought was pretty cool. Every member of the cabinet. In fact, I was in Lieutenant Governor Carroll's office a couple weeks ago, and she's like, Jordan Raynor. She's like, we love Twitter. I was like, yes, ma'am, we do. And she's a big fan. She's a great user of Twitter. So I can't stress this. And with politicians coming on Twitter, who else follows them? Anyone want to take a stab? Lobby. Yes. Who else? Media. Absolutely. The press. The press they're almost all avid Twitter users. Adam Smith is a fantastic example. Adam Smith is political editor of the St. Pete Times. I believe, someone might correct me here, but I believe he was the first political reporter on Twitter in the state of Florida. Is that Peter back there? No? I thought I saw Peter. Peter Schorsch is a great example at St. Peter's blog. Nobody knows him by his name, just his Twitter handle. Peter is changing journalism in the state of Florida. Because of what he's done on Twitter and what he's done with his blog. Peter does not work for a major newspaper, and he's literally changing the game. And if you haven't met Peter, you need to. He's a phenomenal writer, and because of Twitter and because of free blogging tools that he uses, like I think he's still using Blogger. He might be at WordPress now. He's changing the game of journalism in Florida. So number 7 in the list of 10 things that you all can walk out of here today with to help your candidates online. Still on Twitter, retweet your favorite candidates. I don't think we need to spend any more time there. Number 8, build your footprint. So I wrote a piece a while back talking about online footprints and kind of likening the number of Facebook friends you have and the number of Twitter followers you have and the number of bloggers you have and the number of people you have on your email list to a footprint. I mean, you're leaving a footprint online. You have an impact online, each of you, big or small. So building that footprint, particularly on Twitter, and building up a list of readers, if you will, is important to the candidates of your choice and the causes of your choice, and they will recognize that, and they will seek to bring you into the campaign and treat you like a member of the media. And more candidates are doing that very, very well. Number 9, invite your friends. So this is a really simple one, but on most candidates' websites, there's now some sort of invite your friend functionality. At Engage, we have a product called Multiply. So Multiply is a white-labeled online action platform that any political candidate can plug into their website. And this actually incentivizes people for inviting their friends to join the campaign. So with Multiply, you can, I don't know if any of you all are familiar with Foursquare or other social gaming services, but services like Foursquare give you points, and they give you these virtual badges, almost like Boy Scout badges, for the places that you check in on Foursquare. And there's leaderboards, so you're competing against each other for who's been to the most places the most. In Multiply, we've kind of taken that functionality and put a game layer over political activism. So when you go to a candidate's website, you're actually being rewarded for all of these actions that you're taking. So Multiply was rolled out for Tim Pawlenty's presidential campaign, which is no more. But we saw some phenomenal success with it and being able to truly measure engagement with the campaign and social media, and being able to really quantify what's the value of a Facebook event. I'm going off on a tangent. This is my favorite topic. But you'll see within Multiply, my point was, we had this really robust invite your friends technology where you can invite your friends via email or via Facebook to join the campaign. You'll see these platforms popping up all over the place. Be sure to use them. It's a great way to help your candidates out. And lastly, don't be afraid to use technology to organize on your own. There's a great book that I cannot recommend highly enough by Clay Shirky called Here Comes Everybody. And Shirky, who's a professor at, anyone know? Is he a professor? I think he's a professor at Harvard. Anyone going to correct me? He's a professor at Harvard then. So Shirky is a brilliant thought leader, and particularly in the area of social media and how social media is changing organizing, and particularly offline organizing. And a lot of the examples he draws upon are political ones, not just here in the US, but what happened in Egypt, what happened in Iran, what's happening all over the world, and these tools being used to organize masses of people. The secret sauce of the Obama campaign was, in 2008, was not particularly the tools they used, but how they let their supporters use them. Granted, the campaign, at the end of the day, had ultimate control over their web platforms, but they were brilliant at allowing their supporters to organize on their own through their technology, through their website. Being able to so if I want to start an offline event, why should I have to call my local campaign director and wait for him to call me back to set up an event? I can do it myself. I can post on Facebook, hey, we're gonna have a meetup at Starbucks, to wave signs for Barack Obama or for John McCain or whoever it might be. You all have the capabilities to do this. You all have the technology to do this, technology to organize better than we ever could have organized before. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what to do. I'm still amazed that some activists who are like, well, I wanted to have a rally, I wanted to have a house party for my candidate, but the campaign staffer never got in touch with me. It's ridiculous. Just do it. Do it. And the campaigns are going to be very mad at me for saying that, but I don't care. Yes, sir.
Is there a social network or a technology that allows people to sort of self-sign into areas and create their own experience?
That's a great question. Yes, Meetup is a fantastic tool for that. Meetup, fascinating. I didn't realize this. Meetup has been around since 2001. And the company was birthed out of the aftermath of 9/11. I just learned in this 10th anniversary. And basically, the service was created so that people could self-organize, pick a location offline, RSVP to an event at a particular time, get reminders, email reminders for when the event was going to be, invite your friends via email. Meetup's a fantastic tool to do that. So, the question was, do I use Ning? We don't. We believe that the war of social networks, in the traditional sense of what Ning was trying to do, is kind of over. Like, Facebook's won the war. Like, Facebook has won the war of profiles and profile information. Now, I think you're seeing technology trying to be built on top of that Facebook data. So drawing in these millions and millions of users that Facebook already has, and using that data to do stuff like Meetup. So Meetup, there's great Facebook integration. So no, we don't use Ning. Ning was a really great concept, 3 or 4 years ago, and it still serves some purposes today. I've seen some Ning networks that make a lot of sense, but they're becoming fewer and fewer, I think. Yes, sir.
A couple of the sponsors here have you in, like Freedom Connector and Google Plus.
Yeah. So full disclosure, Google is a client of ours at Engage, so I have to be nice. Google Plus is great. I mean, Google Plus, design-wise, let's step away from the technology for a second. Design is unbelievably good. In terms of the user interface and the user design, it's really, really good. Is Google Plus, the question we get asked all the time, is Google Plus the Facebook killer? I don't know. None of us know. Will Facebook be around forever? No. Will Facebook be around for many years to come? Probably. I'm a big fan of Google+. Yes, ma'am. No, go ahead. I'm done.
In Facebook, is there a way that you can share with a group, multiple groups? Because I don't quite find it, and in reposting to different groups, I find that I'm just repeating as independent posts rather than share one single post with all the groups that I'm in.
Yep. There is. It's not easy at all. The workaround solution that I know to that is creating these Facebook friend lists, which Facebook is pushing a lot harder as of last week, which I'm thrilled about. I've been using lists for 3 years, and I've been wondering for a long time why people haven't, and it's because Facebook hasn't promoted them, and now they are. So a great way to do it is, to put people in those groups into friend lists, And when you have a status update, you can put multiple lists within that status update, and it will be sent to all those people at once. So let me wrap this up real quick, and then we have plenty of time for questions, which I'm thrilled about, and that was the whole point. But I want you all to walk out of here today feeling empowered by this technology, feeling that you can do something. Most of us in this room are probably never going to lead an international revolution or become viral YouTube celebrities, but each of us has a voice, and each of you has an audience that is engaged and eager to hear what you have to say. An army of people armed with only cell phones and Twitter accounts can make a difference and can usher in true change in American politics in 2012. So with that, I will open up the floor for questions. My email address is there. For some of you who might not be able to see it, it's Jordan, Jordan, @engagedc.com. My Twitter handle is @JordanRaynor. If you all, I guess we could take some Twitter questions if y'all want to tweet them to me. That would be very, very impressive. Very impressive. I'll keep my Twitter account open. But with that, I will take any and all of your questions. Yes, sir.
Just kind of two questions in one. Where do you see QR codes going with social media? And on back to that is the texting. There's certain numbers, text certain term, whatever.
Yeah.
That you put in the email, or it leads you to a website or whatnot.
Yeah. Great question. Mobile is playing an increasing role in political campaigns and how they communicate. Text messaging is going to be huge in 2012. QR codes. So I was a very early adopter of QR codes. I mean, I had them on my business card, 2 years ago. I'm a big fan of them. I'm actually kind of disappointed that they've become so mainstream already because, and I say this because nobody's using them well. I mean, even Best Buy. Like, I went into Best Buy the other day, and they have QR codes now on all of their products. And you scan a QR code, and it takes them to a mobile version of exactly what you can read on the piece of paper that the QR code was on. It's like, it makes no sense. But QR codes are being used for some really innovative things. One of my favorite uses of QR codes is video. So let's talk about political candidates for a second. A great application of a QR code would be, you guys get a mail piece in the mail from, Marco Rubio, and talks about Marco Rubio's jobs plan. And in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a QR code that says, scan this code to listen to Marco talk more extensively about his jobs plan. And it pops up, a 5-minute video that goes into much more detail than you can get into paper, on your smartphone and watching that video. So video is a great use of, a great application of QR codes. I've been very disappointed to see how most people are using them. And I think that'll change. I mean, that's kind of a nature of new technology, even though QR codes have been around for 4 years, maybe. Yes, sir.
Yeah, one of the things we play around with QR codes is a dynamic message. So pointing a QR code to a page that changes. So say, for instance, you come to a conference like this, you hand out your business card, the QR code will have a message related to this conference. Sure. Next week you go somewhere else, you change that page, and the message changes. Sure. So what's interesting is almost like throwing people to your blog, in that at some point they will almost maybe on a regular basis say, I'm going to scan the card in and see what's going on.
That's a great application of QR codes. It's really good. We have a client. So we do a lot of work in digital politics and with advocacy groups and public affairs groups. But we also do quite a bit of work in the corporate space. As I mentioned, Google is a client of ours. Another client of ours, which is really interesting, is called Blue Ant Wireless. They're a Bluetooth headset company based out of Australia. And one of the things we did for them was we put QR codes on all of their products, and we linked it to a page that we can dynamically change the content. We're gonna be releasing. I mentioned Multiply, which is a product of ours at Engage. We're gonna be launching a campaign probably next week, a marketing campaign targeted to political campaigns and advocacy groups and nonprofits around this whole idea of Slacktivists. I hate the word. Like, a lot of people call you Slacktivists because all you do is like a Facebook page and share content on Facebook. That's BS. You all are activists regardless of what level of action you're taking for a campaign. So we're going to wage war against these people who call you Slacktivists. Anyways, I say that to give what I think is a pretty cool example of a QR code. We made posters that people could print out at home, and I hope we go through this with this idea because I'd love to get some feedback here. We put a couch potato. It's like it looks like a magazine ad. It's a couch potato, and so it's literally a potato that's sitting on a couch, and you scan a QR code, and if you place your phone on top of the potato will give you one of 5 tips to ending slacktivism, and it's a video of the potato's mouth that like talks to you. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So I didn't realize there was a way to like randomly generate links with a QR code, but there was, and so it's kind of like those old pull the string dolls that say stuff. It's that, but with a QR code and a smartphone on paper with a potato. So pumped about that. Yeah, there you go. Yes, it is. What is that, by the way?
Democracy denied.
Democracy denied. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
This is just kind of recently at a county executive party meeting.
Well, I guess you have to
Facebook
put it on
page.
the URL code.
Put one of those paid ads on the side with your Facebook link to get somewhere where they can get money.
Sure. To raise money, probably not. If you're target, so the question was, for a local party, would it be wise for us to run Facebook ads to raise money? Short answer is it could be if you're targeting those ads to people who already like your page. But if you're just targeting it to Republicans within a certain geographic area, you probably won't raise $1, quite honestly. Now, Facebook ads are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. We run a lot of Facebook ads for our clients. And Facebook ads are great for particularly building up a fan page. Rick Scott, they did a great job. They ran a lot of Facebook campaigns, Facebook ad campaigns during the campaign. They spent a lot of money, and that's how he was able to get more Facebook fans than Bill McCollum, a week into the race. Another note, sorry, and I know I'm backtracking here, but I wanted to make a note on Rick Scott real quick, Governor Scott. Going back to the be your own newspaper editor, Rick Scott didn't sit down for a single newspaper editorial board meeting. Didn't get a single endorsement and was elected governor. Granted, he spent a lot of money, but it just goes to show you their confidence in you to spread messaging about the campaign. It's an interesting thing to note, and newspaper editors weren't too happy about that. That this guy got elected after not getting a single endorsement. He made them look very foolish. So. Anyone in the back? Sorry, I've been... All right. No more questions? This is awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Scott had an awesome grassroots,
yes, he did.
Young
yep.
campaign, and that's why he won.
Yes, he did.
Social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they were on every college campus. They were hitting the high schools.
They did a phenomenal job. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Any quick tips for getting your Facebook page out there so people can know about it?
Yeah, so Facebook has done a brilliant job in making it very difficult to build a fan page without spending money on ads. It is very difficult. Some of the tactics we take for our clients who don't want to spend money on ads or want something in addition to ads is we do a lot of campaigns on Facebook. We build a lot of Facebook applications that are, some sort of giveaway to try to get people to like the page. Those campaigns work pretty well as long as the hook is good enough, as long as what you're giving away is good enough. That's one way. The second way, probably the second most important thing in terms of building the page is to cross-reference. On your website, make sure you have a Facebook like button, not a link to your Facebook page, but a like button so that it's one click. Most people put a Facebook icon on their website. You have to click the Facebook icon, go to their page, and click again to like the page. Why? Why wouldn't I just put a like button on my website where it's one click and I don't have to leave your site and I can spend more time there and probably give you my email address? It boggles my mind.
Where does that go when you hit that like?
Anywhere on your website. You can it's a piece of code that you can get for Facebook. Just Google, search on Facebook, Facebook like button. and you can grab the code and put that on your site. What's that? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, could you tell us how to make these?
Yeah, it's super easy. And if anybody tries to sell you QR code creation, laugh at them and report them to the Better Business Bureau. Yeah, just Google free QR code generator, and there are thousands of them. Yes, sir.
What about Facebook and Twitter etiquette? I know there's a lot of people that just start liking stuff and taking over your page. Can you maybe mention something like that?
Sure. It's a good question. What is too much? I guess is another way to phrase that question. There is too much. You all have these people in your lives who you hide from your Facebook news stream. I do. I hide a lot of people. So it's tough. It's different for every person, and I guess my answer would be, you will know. You will know at what point you are becoming irrelevant. Because people will stop engaging with your content. At Twitter, it's really easy to tell. Like when you have, 10 retweets a day, people are retweeting your content 10 times a day, and then you're like, oh, this is great. I'm going to post more. I'm going to post 50 times a day, and then a week later, you realize like nobody's consuming your content, and you're losing followers. That's a good way to know. There's a question. Yes.
I have a novice question. So
Sure.
I've been on Facebook a couple of years under an assumed identity.
Yeah.
To sign up for the Rick Perry breakfast, I put my real name and real photograph on it. I made one post to the Rick Perry breakfast page saying I will attend. The next day, I got a suggested friend. The man lived on my street in Massachusetts in 1970. As far as I know, I've never sent him an email. I haven't talked to him in decades. He may be a Rick Perry supporter. That's possible. But there are a lot of Rick Perry supporters.
Sure.
Okay. How, again, I went on one day, one post, and they found this guy from 40 years ago and suggested he be my friend. How the hell did they do it?
Because Facebook controls everything. Yeah, I mean, Facebook's algorithms, like, you think that's complex? There is some, Eric and I had dinner last night, and I explained an algorithm to him that Facebook reportedly has that would scare you all to death, so I'm not going to share it. But, yeah, doesn't matter. They're able to put the pieces together, your social fabrics and your mutual friends. So he has certain friends, you have certain friends, and if any of those match, there's a good chance he's going to show up in that section.
Listen to me. I was on Facebook one time, one post, one day.
Yeah.
They found a guy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you're on there. It doesn't matter how much you post. It has everything to do with what's listed in your profile information. It has to do with your name. It has nothing to do with time on site. It has nothing to do with how much you're posting. Facebook's just good that way. Sure. Yes, sir.
What do you think about the controversy that's come up in the last day or two on Facebook's invasion of privacy?
I'm sorry, say that again.
There's been controversy the last couple of days about Facebook's new look and its new plan for invasion of privacy.
Yeah, you won't hear anything about it in 2 weeks, like every other iteration of Facebook. It's funny. People think that like every time Facebook rolls out a new feature and there's like privacy concerns, it's like the worst it's ever gotten. That is not true. I was on Facebook in 2004 when it launched at Florida State University. The introduction of the news stream for the first time ever to people on Facebook was by far the most controversial thing in the history of Facebook. And guess what? They went on to have hundreds of millions of users, and they will likely have 1 billion by next year, and nobody is going to stop using the service. I mean, there would have to be some. I don't even know what the scenario would be to get people in terms of a breach of privacy to get people to stop using Facebook. I mean, at the end of the day, it's crack for people. The first thing they do when they wake up in the morning is check Facebook, and so long as the experience is still valuable to the user, people will not care about privacy. I That might be controversial, but I believe that's true. Yes, sir.
Talk about, I know RT is retweet. What's MTs and then also hash marks?
Yeah, good question. So in Twitter, RT means retweet. So that means you're retweeting somebody else's post, usually as is, so you didn't do any edits to it. MT means modified tweet. So that means you're retweeting somebody, but you've modified it a bit to make it your own. And a hashtag, so the little pound sign, the number sign on everyone's keyboard, is used to group like-minded conversations together. So in Twitter, hashtags are hyperlinked, so I can click on a hashtag, and it will take me to all the other tweets that have that hashtag in them. Most hashtags are useless, I believe. They're really useful at the beginning of Twitter, and I think they become a lot less useful. There's a couple of them that have stayed really pure and are really good. Hashtag Safety, Hashtag Safety is a great example. As I mentioned, we launched Hashtag Safety when I was at Safety Review, and the whole thought was, let's try to group like-minded conversations about Florida politics together, and spread the Safety brand while doing it. Somebody actually asked me a question on Twitter. I'm so impressed. That was you. All right, good. But hashtag safe is a good example. That's what a hashtag is, though. It's just kind of binding those conversations together. So let me take a few questions from Twitter. Hey, who's Josolley? You are so kind. Thank you. Wow, this is a good question. I don't think I have an answer to it, but is this from you? What emotional tone appeals most on Twitter? That's a really good question. Humor. Humor is my short answer. And that doesn't apply just to Twitter. That's the internet at large. Another question, CPAC, are there certain Twitter hashtags like TCOT that we should be following at CPAC? Hashtag Safety is a really good one. I saw some hands in the back. I want to get someone who hasn't asked. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. On the subject of safety,
Yeah.
a lot of young people and journalists are online. What would be some good safety tips for young people? And I'm not so much concerned about private information with Facebook users as much as it is also with advertisers and who in Facebook sees that.
Definitely. It's a really good question. So I have a sister-in-law who's 15 now, and when I started dating my wife, she was like 10, and for years she wanted a Facebook account, and her mom said no, and I eventually told her mom, like, she's gonna have a Facebook account whether or not you let her, so you better give her one, and just know what's going on and be involved. I mean, this sounds like a really cliche answer, but I mean it. Just be involved and don't sit over their shoulder and watch them every time they're on Facebook, but like check in on what they're doing. I would recommend making sure that you have access to their passwords. I have a pretty, I'm not a parent yet, so maybe this will change, but at this point in my life, my view on this is, as long as you're living under my house, all of your passwords are mine, and you have no privacy, so I'm going to be a terrible father, but it is a legitimate concern. There are, particularly on the advertiser in way of advertising, there's a lot of privacy concerns. I mean, privacy, and part of the problem is the law in this area is non-existent. Our law is not meant for this kind of technology, and it's going to take us a long time to get to a place where it is. So, just be like any other thing, not just technology, from parents' perspective. And I say this not as a parent, so I'm totally unqualified to say this, but, just be involved and hope parents will agree with me on that. I don't know. Yes, sir. Good. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it an issue also of disclosure? You don't have to answer every single option in Facebook.
That's absolutely right.
You do not.
Yeah.
And to give a full date of birth with year is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's doing it. So
Yeah. Use discretion. Can somebody ask me, can I talk about tout.com? I don't know what tout.com is, actually. Yes. Yes, it's like this. Yeah, so this is interesting. Touts popped up. 12 seconds or whatever it was called popped up. There's all these like micro video services out there. I mean, I guess they serve a niche in the market. YouTube owns the market of video, though. Yes, sir.
I own a small e-commerce business that's really kind of oriented towards an older crowd.
Sure.
So I try to use also social media to do a lot of advertising.
Yeah.
Being in my mid-20s, I'm usually getting, younger people that might not like the product as much.
Right.
I kind of alter that to kind of go up the demographic I'm looking for.
It's a good question. It's not impossible, no. The fastest growing demographic of Facebook social media users are people over the age of 55. Anybody who says that Facebook is for young people is lying. I mean, this is not something for the kids anymore, right? This is for everybody, and it's for big business. I mean, one way. Are you running Facebook ads? Yeah, they just haven't. No ROI, yeah. One thing I would recommend is, breaking down ads by age group is actually pretty effective. We do that for a lot of our political candidates in terms of getting out the vote. Very different messages to seniors than we would have to young people on Facebook ads. So that's something you can't for instance, with Google search ads, you can't target like that. Facebook you can. Facebook's a great way to do that. So having different messages, images for Facebook ads are everything. So A/B test everything. We A/B test everything at Engage. We're obsessed with data and the data that you're able to get from these Facebook ads. And so for any Facebook advertising campaign, we have at least 2, usually more ads, variations of the same messaging running at the same time, figure out which ad performs best, and then allocate our clients' ad dollars in that direction. Yes, sir.
What do Facebook ads cost?
I'm sorry. What was that?
What do Facebook ads cost?
It's different for every advertising campaign because it's based on who you're targeting. So Facebook ads allow you to target by age. They allow you to target by location. They allow you to target by which Facebook pages you like. So it's very targeted, and it has to do with how competitive the targeting, the people you're targeting, whether or not there's a lot of other people advertising on those people. It's an auction model, basically. It's very similar to how Google AdWords works, in that you're competing against people for the same audience, and whoever has the most relevant ad, and whoever's willing to pay the most is going to get that spot.
So any average that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to throw out an average. I mean, so Facebook ads are per click. So you only pay if you click on an ad, and typically for our campaigns that we run, we get about a $30 to $10 cost per click. That's a big range, but that's about what we do. I would say the average is about 40 cents of what we do, which is really good, and we do a lot of Facebook advertising, and we have a lot of experience with it, which is how and here's the thing with Facebook ads. The better your ad is, the less you're going to pay. The more relevant the ad is to consumers who you're targeting, Facebook wants to show more relevant ads because that increases time on site for those users, so they're going to reward you for that by letting you pay less for those ads. A really interesting tactic, just throw this out there, if you have a really short-term advertising campaign, so get out the vote, and you don't necessarily care about people clicking on the ad, you just want messaging, make it a really bad ad, like terrible, right? But just put like really critical profile information on there, but an ad that nobody's gonna click on, and just get free impressions. We do it all the time. It's super effective. And it'll run out after like 3 days, because Facebook will basically stop showing the ad because nobody's clicking on it and it's irrelevant. But that is an awesome trick. We love it. Don't tell. Is Katie Harbath here? Katie's not here. Don't tell Katie. She works for Facebook. Good friend. Anyone else? Way in the back.
I came in late. Sorry about that.
I did too.
Is any of this information available to us other than listening to you right now?
Sure. You're talking about the Yeah, short answer, yes. Are you talking about the information specific to these slides or just this information in general? Okay. All right, so the slides are available. Dang it. I knew somebody was going to ask that. So I was actually sitting out. I was told that this was supposed to start at 10:30. I was mistaken. I don't know. There's miscommunication. And I was outside. I was going to put a QR code in this slide where you could just scan it and download these slides, which would have been cool, but I didn't pull it off, so shame on me. Slideshare.net. Search for Jordan Raynor, or just search for Jordan Raynor, and you should be able to find these slides. Yeah. There's some great blogs to just keep current on this stuff. Shameless plug. We have a blog that we talk about this stuff all the time. We have really interesting podcast guests on there pretty regularly. It's engagedc.com/blog. Non-shameless plugs, Mashable.com is a great resource. You're not going to find better social media news than Mashable.com. Yeah. Let's do 2 more. Yes, ma'am.
When you mentioned the click-on ads with Facebook that were terrible, just for the impression, doesn't that kind of undermine your branding, or you don't care?
Let me rephrase terrible. I consider terrible, typically, an ad that nobody will click on. When we run these ads, they look great. Like, we still have great photos. We still have, there's no typos or anything. It's just very much, usually in ads we'll say, click here to find out more. Click here to enter a chance to win. Find out more about Marco Rubio's jobs plan or whatever it might be. Usually we just drop that call to action from the ad text, and you'll see a pretty significant decrease in clicks. That's what I mean by terrible. Poor choice of words. I'm an extreme person. One more. Yes, sir.
Hootsuite?
Yeah.
Good dashboard sort of?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I like Hootsuite. Hootsuite's a dashboard that you can use for Twitter and Facebook and a couple of other services to schedule out tweets ahead of time. It's good. I don't know what it is about Hootsuite that I've never really bought into. I don't really like the design a whole lot. Personally, I'm a very big design guy. I still use TweetDeck, and it's getting worse now that Twitter bought TweetDeck. So I'm gonna have to migrate to something else. But for my personal use, that's what I like to use. Yes, ma'am.
What was that you used to make?
Hootsuite. HOOTSUITE. So, well, thank you all very much. I really appreciate your time. Again, this is my contact information. I see some more questions coming in through Twitter. I'll be happy to answer them. I kind of have an insane day, but at some point this weekend, you'll get an answer. That's my email address. I might regret this, but feel free to email me. Feel free to email me, and thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it.